Ms Sarsour, an organizer of the Women's March and self-proclaimed intersectional feminist, argues that Zionists can't be feminists. I'm a Zionist feminist. Let me explain why Sarsour's statement is false, offensive, and mirrors a larger issue of Jewish exclusion in the feminist movement. Modern social justice movements often organize using a framework called intersectionality. Intersectionality is the theory that the overlap of various social identities, such as race, gender, sexuality, and class, contributes to the specific type of systemic oppression and discrimination experienced by an individual. Intersectional feminists aim to liberate all people from oppression, fighting for rights like freedom, security, and self-determination. Unfortunately, some intersectional feminists aren't willing to extend these basic rights to Jewish people. Instead, they promote a conspiracy theory equating Zionism with racism, which is anti-Semitic according to the US State Department's definition of anti-Semitism. In reality, Zionism is a movement advocating for the Jewish people's right to exist as a sovereign nation in our historic homeland of Israel. People from all backgrounds who share this belief identify as Zionists. And who wouldn't? Zionism is a liberation movement that is fully compatible with intersectional thinking. Here's what many well-intentioned feminists don't realize. Just as those who do not want to see the liberation of women falsely label feminism as an anti-male agenda, those who do not want to see the liberation of Jews wrongfully label Zionism as a racist agenda. This anti-Semitic distortion of intersectionality has served to justify Sarsour's "you can't be a feminist if you are a Zionist" statement. Any assertion, beginning with "you can't be a feminist if," silences dialogue by strictly defining feminism to exclude many people who actually support equality. As a Zionist feminist, I support the liberation movement of my fellow Jews, just as I support the liberation movement of my fellow women. But according to Ms Sarsour, my support of the Jewish state, a democracy that works to safeguard the human rights of all people, disqualifies me from being a feminist. By excluding Zionists from the feminist movement, Sarsour effectively labels Jews as unworthy of liberation. But make no mistake, we are just as worthy as anyone else. There is no one right way to express your feminism, and Ms Sarsour, I will not be told to check my Zionism at the door in order to participate in your exclusionary idea of what feminism should be. So who do activists like Sarsour consider to be good feminist allies? Razmia Odeh, a convicted Palestinian Arab terrorist who murdered 2 Jewish college students in an Israeli supermarket bombing and is currently being deported for concealing her crimes on US immigration forms. Sarsour said she was honored to be on this stage with Razmia while recently sharing a podium with her. So Zionists can't be feminists, but terrorists can be honorable feminists. Sounds like nonsense to me. Activists like Sarsour also support the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions Movement Against Israel, or BDS. BDS claims to be a Palestinian-led movement for freedom, justice, and equality. Now all that sounds lovely, but let's take a closer look at what BDS actually seeks to accomplish. BDS is an anti-Semitic movement conspiring to destroy the only Jewish state and replace it with a Palestinian Arab state. Like Hitler's Nazi regime, Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas has publicly stated that this Palestinian Arab state would be Judenrein, or cleansed of Jews. So BDS can try to disguise itself as a social justice movement by using all of the liberal rhetoric it wants, but the facts all point to its true anti-Semitic agenda. Unfortunately, the National Women's Studies Association, or NWSA, bought into this rhetoric and passed a BDS resolution, which includes boycotting Israeli academics. NWSA member Dr. Janet Friedman warned that the voices of Jews and others whose positions are rooted in the right of Israel to exist as a state have been silenced. Please consider appending your name to this petition demanding that the National Women's Studies Association uphold its commitment to academic inclusion by revoking its discriminatory BDS resolution. Together, we must fight to insert ourselves into this collective movement for equality, refusing to allow anti-Semitic BDS proponents like Ms Sarsour to define our narrative.